Hey everyone, welcome to episode 9 of the Living Room Chat podcast. A little bit differently today, we're going to give you a little insight into what's in today's episode. So Matt, run us through what we've got in store, my friend.
So today, what we're talking about? We're talking about global warming, starting off with some politically
sensitive subjects.
Sensitive stuff. But then it's not all serious. We talk about sport, we're talking about Formula One, talking about
Balloon Gate,
yes.
US versus China,
The current affairs.
Clash of the Titans.
Got some agency chat in here as well, talking about why you need a reservation agreement when you move home.
Yeah, we also cover off receding hairlines, me, not him, and also viral TikToks from this guy yet again. So, I hope you enjoy the next hour of this episode. Also, quick shout out, episode 10 will be coming very, very soon, within probably 3 or 4 days. And we've got a special guest on that one for the first time ever on the Living Room Chat podcast. So without further ado...
Sorry, I cut you off there, mate.
That's fine. Will you say without further ado, let's dive in?
Without further ado, let's dive in.
Yeah! Welcome back, people, to episode 9 of the Living Room Chat podcast. Thank you for joining us. How are you, Matt?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Excellent.
Nearly a double figure episode.
Do you know what as well? What's interesting now is we're the first week of Feb and we've now done more episodes in 2023 than we had done in 2022.
We're on track.
We're on track. Yeah. Well on track. Although a bit more of a gap this time, isn't it? We've gone from weekly podcasts. We had to miss Friday for personal reasons. You took your mum out, didn't you?
Oh yeah, mum's birthday. Yeah.
What did you do?
Guys. I went to London.
Oh, cool.
Went to London, saw the sights, had some lunch, went to the British Museum. My mum likes that kind of thing.
Awesome. So. Nice. It's nice to treat her a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And just being able to go and didn't have to ask the boss.
Yeah, I know. It's game changer, isn't it?
Amazing.
It's cool. But this was a special week because it's a double episode week.
Yes.
So this will be coming out hopefully Wednesday, Thursday. It's Tuesday now. And then we've got our Friday podcast, which is episode 10. Which we were having our first guest live with us as well.
Which would be fun.
Which would be awesome because he's a cool guy, knows his stuff, just a very energetic chap, isn't he?
What I like about podcasts as well, this is a good opportunity to have a proper chat.
Yeah.
I think at this point we've done 9 hours of just chatting.
Yeah.
And so
and that's what a podcast is, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I wanted to say, obviously, I texted you, that's old school, isn't it? WhatsApped you a couple of weeks, was it last week or the week before? Because the podcast has now gone international. So we've got listeners now in America and in Peru, of all places.
You're saying listeners plural, maybe it's just one listener.
Maybe it's just one listener, yeah, maybe. But if you're listening to this episode, the person from Peru, thank you so much for joining us and keep listening.
Share it with your friends.
Share it with your friends, yeah, we're going places. We'll do a little segment on Peru. Like a little chat about Peru.
That's how much we value our listeners. We'll do a whole segment for you.
But anyway, cool, we digress. We got a cool episode in place here. We've actually done a lot of research, well, I say I've done a lot of research.
I've done fuck all research.
That's fine, don't worry mate, because next time you can do some.
Okay.
Really, really interesting point. So, it's actually one of our topics. We won't dive into... In fact, I'll save it. I'll save that. I'll save that for a segue later on. Okay. But what should we dive in first, mate? What topic do you fancy first? We've got a little bit of sport. We've got a bit of natural disaster. We've got a bit of Instagram, social media, estate agency, anything. Pick what you want.
I don't want to start on a negative, but
No.
You mentioned natural disaster, and I saw
I think
horrible video this morning from Turkey.
Yeah,
it's
so sad, isn't
scary.
it? Honestly, I know we do this as our podcast is just a laugh for us and just a talk, but when you see shit like that, like fucking breaks your heart, doesn't it? Like
it's just unthinkable that that's just the world and natural disaster is horrible.
Yeah. Well, this was part of the topic I wanted to go into, but first of all, my heart goes out to all the people affected in Turkey and in Syria, in a place where it's uncertain anyway with what's going on with the war and everything in Syria, etc. To have this, and the whole, I looked at it as well. I did a bit of, I'm generally interested in that sort of thing, but like there was apparently 100. So they had the main earthquake, and then the second aftershock was almost as big, and there was about 120 shocks across the. I think it's the I'm really stupid now. I'm going to go Antillic line on the tectonic plate. It might be wrong.
Yeah.
if it's wrong, you can just put a little phrase underneath saying he meant this. But yeah, it went all across the board. It's savage, mate. And some of the videos that have come out are just heartbreaking, aren't they?
So scary. Yeah.
I think last update I saw there was 3,000 dead confirmed, but it sounds like it's going to be.
Yeah, I heard it was about 4,500.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lot worse because they can't even get through the rubble at the moment.
Yeah, horrible.
Did you see the video of there was a live broadcast and another aftershock hit whilst they're live on TV?
No, I just saw like TikTok videos of people just live streaming like with buildings collapsing around them. Terrifying.
Yeah, it does make you think, doesn't it? And so the topic, and we dive into it's a topic which is, I can't believe I'm going to do this joke. It's a hot topic, but global warming.
Nice.
That's shit, isn't it?
Nice.
Because it's a very polarising topic, isn't it? Some people deny it. Others, like Greta Thunberg, fucking wake up every morning thinking about it.
Yeah, she can't sleep.
And obviously all the evidence would suggest that, there's an issue. And will the world survive another 100, 150 years? Well, we don't care, we won't be here, but who knows? But the fact that all of these natural disasters keep happening, and I'd say more frequently, if you look back over the last few years, when you've got the fires raging in California and Australia, the droughts in Africa, floods in Europe, the wind, the coldest ever wind temperature recorded in America, minus 78 degrees wind chill across northern America.
Yeah. Wow.
Like all of this happening, is there any way of stopping it? Or are you the other side, global warming's a myth?
I'm neither, to be honest. I don't think it's a myth. I'm actually not well read enough on this at all to really give an opinion. I don't think it's a myth. I don't see how it can be a myth. I think humans have evolved so much in the last 200 years that it just makes sense to me that us burning petrol and natural...
Yeah, it's going to affect something somewhere, isn't it?
Is going to have an effect. But then, I also don't subscribe to like everything's so doom and gloom, and the world's going to die in 100 years unless we do this immediately now. Because I think, actually we're... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, linking it back to the recent earthquakes, how do you explain natural disasters?
Well, I did read about that. Only briefly yesterday when I was just doing a bit of research for the pod, but apparently earthquakes are affected by global warming because, and I'll probably get this wrong, but I'll go with it anyway. Something to do with the Earth's surface heating up does affect the tectonic plates, which cause, them breaking apart cause earthquakes.
Again, that seems plausible to me.
That's a very, very dumbed down, basic view on it because I'm not that intelligent to answer it. But it's something along those lines.
Complicated old topic.
But it does, global warming does affect. It can affect earthquakes and volcanoes and that sort of thing.
I think for me, we have a little bit of the paradox in the sense that we could just all get rid of our cars, not burn any gases. I don't know how we'd keep warm. I don't know what the best way to do that would be, but we could all live much simpler lives, right?
Yep.
On the one hand. On the other hand, the whole world is kind of centered around economic growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the problem
and
is
those two things.
Like, I think the as much as in Britain or in, established countries where they want to do something to change things, that's great. But places like China where they're burning like so many fossil fuels to keep their economy growing and the manufacturing and everything, and in Brazil where they're cutting down the rainforests at an alarming rate that there's almost none left.
Yeah.
These sort of things you can't, as much as what can we do to counterbalance that if the other countries are still going to do it and they're contributing far worse? It doesn't really make a difference what we do.
Because we're the 6th biggest economy in the world, but I read that we only account for 1% of the world's pollution.
Yeah, well there you go. That
so
sort of
then
thing.
if you break it down, so then you could say, oh well, I'm not going to bother doing anything. But then, if everyone has that approach, then it's just nothing will ever change.
I think there's little things you can do yourself, isn't it? Like I went vegan for a little bit a few years ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
How long for?
I did probably 9 months solidly.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was
Like
no, it was
vegan,
it was,
not
I was
vegetarian.
not vegan, yeah, vegetarian, like no milk, no cheese, no fish, 100% vegan. Not in the sense I was like not wearing like leather shoes, that sort of thing, leather jacket.
Yeah,
But yeah, I did, and I did it more because I read a load of stuff on my health. But again, it's like global warming. Once you open that wormhole and you start reading and stuff, and you listen to a podcast about it, and suddenly you're absolutely in.
yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't, you know, the science that I read and the films I watched were like, yeah, okay, cool, I generally do believe this. But then I thought about it, actually, they're coming from their side of things, and there's probably counterbalancing arguments for the other side. Anyway.
There always is.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm not doom and gloom about it at all, because I think when you look at what's being done,
Yeah.
look at the profile Greta Thunberg's got, look at the fact everyone's driving Teslas, you've got an electric car outside.
Yeah.
I'm not certain electric cars are as eco-friendly as we all think they are. That's maybe a separate conversation for another day.
Okay. I mean, I got an electric car because it's quick as fuck, rather than
It is quick
because it is quick as fuck, isn't it? And it's got a really cool noise. It goes rather than actually for the global warming and stuff.
No. So electric cars, and then BP and Shell this year have got record profits, which you might have seen.
Yeah. Like multiple billions, like 45 to
multiple
75
billions. But also they'll be heavily taxed on those profits. And also, if you look at what Shell and BP are doing, they are on a push towards renewables.
Yeah.
So that profit is going to go towards making.
That's a very optimistic way of looking at it.
That's kind of how I see it, because I'm like, it'd be easy to look around and be like,
yeah, bastards,
everything's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I obviously don't pay attention to any fuel prices because I don't need to, because I've got an electric car. But I did notice them coming down. I think I was 142. Is that low or?
Yeah, they're coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming down. Yeah,
anyway,
so
it is interesting, isn't it? And as I said, it's a topic where it does divide and conquer. I think a lot of people believe in it and want to do this stuff, but at the end of the day, your life is so busy and you've got so much to take care of yourself, balancing the bills, supporting your family, running a business, having fun, whatever you're doing. It's almost like there's not enough time in someone's life to focus on what they can do to help affect the environment.
I think that's such a good point, and I think it's easy to care about the environment when you've got money in a warm house.
Yeah.
But I think, even
when you can buy a plot of land and build an eco-friendly house for £1 million.
Yeah.
Oh, I care about the environment.
But yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you do your recycling?
Yeah.
It's a random question.
No, but absolutely do.
Yeah, that's my one. It's a real bugbear for me when people don't recycle.
I think most people do, don't they? Because I don't know about my bins get. I've got really good chat now, isn't it? Bin chat. My bins get collected once a fortnight. So bin 1 week and then recycling the following week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not done the same.
You're Reading Council?
West Berks.
Okay.
Where are you, Wokenham?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm West Berks. But so that's cool. But it means so for my family, if our bin gets filled up in that time, so I wouldn't be able to put the recycling in. I have to recycle, otherwise I'm
doing it. Yeah.
So if I put all my recycling in the bin, like our bin would be overspilling after 2 weeks.
Smart.
Clever.
Smart.
When I'm West Berks Council. Shout out for them.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that before as a way of actually getting people to recycle.
Yeah, but no, I do. We absolutely do recycle, like clothes, bottles, cardboard, whatever you need to do.
It pisses me off when people don't.
Yeah, I agree.
Some people are just like, oh, I'm busy, throw it all in. I was like, that's all going to landfill.
Yeah, there we go. Happy days.
Anyway, that probably wasn't the most thrilling chat to start off with.
Yeah, well, we could cut that. We'll put that at the end, and so I got some other topics I would dive into. So should we lighten the mood? I've got some. Basically, it's out as 2023, and I've been using Instagram for like 10 years or whatever, and I've finally just realised what the save button does.
Saves the videos.
Saves the videos, yeah. And I didn't realise this, and I went in there. I was like, "Oh, I've got a couple of saved videos from like years ago when I've obviously pressed the wrong button." So recently, I've just been going through and all the funny videos I've saved them, just so I can show you. Can I show you a couple quickly?
Should we put them on the screen?
We'll put them on the screen. Cool. I'll show you now. We'll put them on the screen quickly because they are brilliant, and they're only short clips, but this one's fucking hilarious. You've obviously seen all these, and now everyone has, but they're just brilliant. Have you seen this one?
Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. Pack in the wind, battle me, that's a sin.
That's a cool one. And then I think this one's a bit like, obviously every episode I have to squeeze in mountain biking.
Yeah, classic.
Right, so this bike's about £5,000. Watch this.
Lonely.
We're lucky he didn't go over.
Right,
There's a lot of videos
You
like
could
that.
easily just bounce on down there.
Mate, honestly, some of the things, like, it's not too bad there, but some places you go, like, big places, like actual mountains when you're mountain biking. You haven't got a family. Oh, sorry, that's really rude. I didn't mean that, man. You haven't got a wife and kids. You got a missus. But so you won't be able to relate to this, but this is so true.
That's good.
He's brilliant. He's got so many little videos, isn't he?
So funny.
Do you reckon he just does little video clips and then sends them to someone, so can you turn that into a...
Yeah, maybe. It
must
or
be
he just films himself and he's got someone who does it. My equivalent of that is when Soph will bicker at my brother and then bicker at me.
Oh, really? I suppose it must be an interesting dynamic, the three of you living together.
Yeah, I like to think it works pretty well.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't think those two mind it that much either.
No.
We all get on.
Because you're all mates, like, at the end of the day.
We all get on pretty well.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Cool. But it leads nicely into the fact that you've gone viral again.
Again, TikTok going viral.
I'm pleased for you. I do envy you a little bit. I just love to have a viral video. I don't know why. It's just something I want to. I'd like to get 50,000 views on a video. That'd be great. But talk to me about your most recent viral video. And I looked at it and I thought, it's fucking good. To be fair.
So,
how do you come up with these ideas?
I don't know. It's usually just getting annoyed by something.
Yeah.
Or I'll observe something. So in this instance, every time I go to the barber shop, it annoys me that I have to go to the
Put the clip on the screen while you're talking.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go.
It annoys me that I have to go to the cash machine
Yeah.
to get out 20 quid
Yeah.
and then go to the barber shop because they don't have a card machine. Because if they have a card machine, they'll have to pay tax.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I went to a cash machine like I normally did. The cash machine was broken. Went to another cash machine, it was broken. So then I got to my third cash machine. I was just like, this is annoying. I can make a TikTok out of this. So I filmed myself just getting the money out.
Yeah.
And posted like a 6-second clip just saying about barbershops not paying any tax.
Yeah. There you go.
What was funny about it, and then the comments section went off and everyone chipped in about tax evasion.
And everyone obviously agree with it, because I'm exactly the same. When I go to my barbers, you have to purposely drive to the cash point first, then drive to the barbers.
Yeah.
And it is annoying.
It is annoying. What was funny is that I posted it because I was annoyed at the barber shop, really. Just like, You're
annoyed for them, what, not paying tax? Sorry for any barbers that do pay tax, by the way, but we're just chucking you into a stereotype here, because we all know the reason you don't take cash, you don't take card, is to get away from tax. So cool. Anyway,
it seemed obvious to me. I think some people in the comments section didn't know about it, and they were like, "Oh, that makes sense." Yeah.
I saw it and instantly went, "Yeah, I think about it all the time as well." And it annoys me. I don't know about how much your barber costs, but mine's 16 quid.
19 quid.
Wow, that's quite expensive, isn't it?
Well, I get the skin fade, which is I think a couple of quid more.
So I go 16 quid. I haven't got much hair on top to cut otherwise.
Discount.
But I always, because they fuck around with the change, they take ages. Like, so I would say, "Oh, don't worry about the change," and it's always 20 quid.
So you give £4 tip?
Well, yeah.
See, I don't. I keep that £1 change because I've had to go to a cash point out of my way.
Covered your petrol.
And I'm just like, before COVID, that haircut was 12 quid. All of a sudden, it's 19.
Yeah, okay.
Fine. I'll pay the 19 quid, but I'm keeping my penny change. If they had a card machine, I wouldn't mind so much.
Cool.
So anyway, I posted it because I was annoyed.
Yeah.
But I think the comments section thought that I was like saying, "Oh, good on the barbershops, let's help them avoid tax."
Oh, right.
I wasn't saying that at all.
No. But that's good, because that's when it just promotes the anger from people, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think had I have gone in on barbershops, I think people would have gone in on me. It was just like,
I think I should start a TikTok page. You do it for a laugh, though. You don't do it. You don't do it for business necessarily, do you?
I purposely keep it as far away from my business
Yeah.
as I can.
I did start a TikTok page a few years ago and posted like 3 or 4 things and then didn't do anything with it. But it was a state agency.
It's I just think it's cool that you can post a video and 500,000 people can see it in a day.
I read something. I'm going to stop saying that. I say that all the time, don't I? I've said it before.
Sits at home reading.
Just fucking sit there reading shit. No, I saw something from a MP who was urging everyone to delete TikTok because the amount of data that it collects that goes directly back to the Chinese government.
Yeah, so they can have my data.
Yeah, but can have your bank. They can get your bank details.
My but how does that work? My bank details aren't on TikTok.
Yeah, but they can infiltrate your phone.
Can they?
Well, I don't know.
But like, I don't think they can.
Okay, can we hold that thought? Because I have an amazing segue
Right.
into another topic.
Move on.
but I need to go back to the barber chat because it leads me onto another topic which wasn't planned, but I need to talk to you about. It could be a continuing segment of our podcast about my hairline.
Yeah,
Because obviously I mentioned about, I think in a couple of episodes, about possibly getting a hair transplant.
you did.
And then I found we were talking about ads, weren't we?
You found a cheap alternative.
Yeah. So I've now found I've been retargeted by another company and I really brought into this one. So basically it's another level. So they don't, rather than giving you the special spray or cream that promotes hair growth, there's also a device that it's like a roller, but like little spikes on it, and you can roll it across your head like once a day, and it doesn't hurt, but it's all it's doing is promoting, like it's creating. I don't know, must be clearing out. I don't know how it does it. They did explain it with a really cool diagram, but I can't explain it.
Mate, it sounds like bollocks.
Does it? I just need it back. I think it's the only thing that lets me down.
It's a roller that doesn't hurt, and they
I haven't explained it very well. They talk some scientific stuff over the top to make you sound like it's legit.
I hope it works.
But there's so many guys on there that said, look at my hair in 6 months.
But that's what and the same with the teeth ads. I just don't believe that they work.
I think I'm going to give it a go.
Well, let's report back. I think you're right. This can be an ongoing weekly segment.
We could
maybe
do it
at the end. And if there's any receders watching the podcast, hang on.
We could get our first sponsorship deal from one of these companies.
I could cut off my hair and see if it grows.
Well, your hair will grow back because you're not follically challenged like I am.
Yeah. How could I get in on this somehow?
Well, no, we can just have an ad break. Are you worried about hair loss?
A really American style advert.
When I started this podcast, 3 months, I'm not American, I had no hair.
What you could do is you could get this when you have to do it every week or every day.
I think it's daily.
Right. I don't know if you could order this set and then weekly on the podcast you could.
No, I don't go that far. But you would see it, wouldn't you? Because obviously it's all videoed. So when we do our podcast in October, in 9 months' time, you could just be looking at me going, oh mate, your hair looks good. I'd be like, cheers bro, I've been using this. And I would be every day, or we could do it every month.
I think your hair's fine, mate. I think your hair's great.
But you'd have to live with it.
I think your hair's great.
Okay, anyway, back to Chinese infiltrating phones from TikTok. Leads me nicely onto another topic, which is, I've named it, the US versus China, Balloongate.
It sounds an appropriate title.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Because everything's a gate, isn't it? Partygate, something gate.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't actually know where that
why
comes
gate?
from.
Why not a fence or a?
Yeah. What is that? What is the
Or a
gate all
door.
about? Yeah. Well, why don't they just say saga, balloon saga?
Yeah.
Anyway, Balloongate it is.
Balloongate. Yeah. So
Do you know about this, but you don't know much about it?
So the US shot down a Chinese hot air balloon in their airspace or something. Was it actually a hot air balloon?
Absolutely correct. Yeah, hot air balloon.
A hot air balloon.
Well, yeah, a balloon. I'm assuming it had hot air in it. No, it is exactly that. So, let me set the scene. This balloon travels into American airspace, and they're like, "Hey, man, you can't do that."
This is in America.
Yeah,
Or American airspace.
in
abroad?
American airspace. It's over America.
Right.
And the China.
Hey man, you can't do that.
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to stop accents. I'm just about to do an accent. The Chinese are like, no,
do it.
no,
Please.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
We're not here for any trouble.
No, don't do that. It's not funny. No one's laughing. Right, the Chinese said, look, sorry, bro, we didn't mean it.
Sorry,
we're
bro."
just assessing meteorological data. And the Americans are like, bollocks, are you? You're fucking spying us, you pricks.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're not. Trust me, it just blew off course and we can't really control it. And then the Americans are like, well, look, it's got satellites on there. It's naughty as fuck. So either get it out or we'll shoot the bastard down. And they're like, well, we can't control it because the wind's blowing it and stuff. Amazing. So the Americans shot it down. But they had to wait for it to be overseas so it didn't land on someone's house or someone, because obviously that would be bad, wouldn't it? They're now trying to... Divers have gone in to find it in the sea, to retrieve it, to see what data they were trying to analyse.
Right.
But then, what I was reading, there was a doctor of some sort of robotics and science, basically said there won't be any data on it because the Chinese aren't stupid. So what they would do is it would link to a satellite
Yeah.
and then fire it down to a ground server where the Chinese can get all the data they're trying to find.
Yeah, they've
and then
live
wipe it.
streamed that data right off of there.
Yeah, but then the Americans can look at they'll have whatever technology it is, they'll have similar technology. So they can look at it and say, well, actually, hang on a minute, this processing power would be probably for this. And it just could escalate quite dramatically.
It's quite scary, isn't it? They say, after Brexit, they said we're moving to nationalism? We had globalization.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of all retreating back into our countries.
Yeah. Do you think, because the Americans have been a world power, the leader of everything, biggest army, biggest economy, everything for many, many years.
Yeah.
And no one's dared stand up to them. And now you've got Putin saying, fuck you. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And Ping, is it Chinese Supreme Leader?
Ping, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, Putin, hold my beer. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to fly shit over their airspace, see what they're going to do.
Yeah. Let's just tickle them, see how they react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think it's, I wouldn't be surprised in not even that long, a few years' time, like, shit's going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about a balloon here.
No. I can see that. I think I watched a video from. Do you know who Ray Dalio is?
No.
Ray Dalio is a famous investor, runs an old investment fund.
Yep.
An old guy, he's probably 70 odd, but he does a video about the rise and fall of global powers.
Yep.
The dollar is the reserve currency of the world at the moment. America is the largest economy. As you say, America is the world leader and has been for, I don't know, the last, 200 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100 years.
100 years. What if, and anyway, he goes back in history 500 years and looks at the Dutch economy and the British Empire and just has, his point is that empires rise and fall.
Of course.
And alluding to...
The Americans are going to fall.
Alluding to the Americans could fall, the dollar could not be what it is today, and the Chinese economy is obviously growing. So...
You mean a shift in the elite...
Global power.
Power elite, yeah. Shift into places like China and Russia and...
Which
well,
again
anymore,
is plausible, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If you look, as you said, if you look back at history, there's been invaders, conquerors throughout history.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the Romans and they fell. The Mongolian Empire in across China and Mongolia, obviously, like Genghis Khan and all that. They ruled a third of the world.
So if you look back through history, I mean, it's quite plausible, isn't it?
Yeah.
That America doesn't.
But I think now everything is just moving on so quickly now, where you could probably see a powerhouse rise and fall within a 150-year span, whereas previously, dynasties would last for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Look at the Targaryens of Game of Thrones; they survived for thousands of years, didn't they? Obviously, that's.
Game of Thrones.
I was watching. It's not my watching. We were watching. Laura and I have been watching House of Dragon, the House of the Dragon, the prequel to the Game of Thrones, and it's pretty interesting. But I was so stupid. I was watching it, and I was like, I wonder what year this is set in, because obviously the building structures are quite well established, and I'm like, mate, there's fucking dragons. What am I talking about? It's not real.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah, you do, don't you? You do. But anyway, so yeah, I thought it was interesting. One thing, it's a really geeky point, but I actually read how the missile destroyed the balloon, because in previous times, if they shot the missile, but because the balloon's obviously inflated,
Yeah.
The missile goes straight through it,
Yeah.
and it doesn't deflate it. It just stays there. There's no problem at all.
Such a weird problem.
So what they had to do is they shot the missile and had to have it when it left the fighter jet. So the balloon was at 65,000 feet and the fighter jet was at 58,000 feet. So they had to shoot it up a little bit. But from when they released the missile from the fighter jet, it was timed to detonate 3 seconds after, which would have landed precisely just ahead of the balloon. So when it detonated, it would destroy the balloon inside it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So it didn't actually, it detonated before it hit the balloon, like a millisecond.
That's so interesting.
But yeah, we talked about in the podcast before. I love referring back to our podcast.
Yeah.
But why you need maths? The guy who did that obviously needed maths, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's physics.
Yeah, and physics. Yeah,
Yeah.
and maths for calculations and geometry. Anyway, there we go. We
Is that
don't care.
maths and physics? There's a similar thing. There's definitely some overlap there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but Rishi wasn't in power getting us to do maths when we were in school.
Yeah.
So.
Do you remember? Do you always remember the? Have you ever met someone who did A levels and you just meet them and they're intelligent and I'm like, let me guess what you did at A levels: maths, further maths and physics. And they went, yeah. How do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just tell.
And then some people went on to be maths teachers and other people went on to learn code.
Yeah, there you go. And guess who's doing the best at the moment?
Yeah. Should have learned code.
Cool. Balloon gate over. Well, for now. Until next time. Have you got anything else you want to talk about? There's more topics to go through. We're on to, we'll call this the sports section. A little jingle for the sports section.
Sports section. Sky
Sports
News.
section with Ryan and Matt on the living room chair. Why are we so American today?
It's just a default, mate. Just
Default.
default to American language.
What's your best accent? Are we gonna go there? Should we not do it? Should we not go there?
Well, I don't know. I started my Chinese accent earlier.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
don't
In
wanna
fact,
get
we're
in
gonna.
trouble.
Yeah, I know. And then if you mess it up, it's really embarrassing for the 27 people that listened last week. So I've got 3 sports topics. You can
Okay.
choose which one's first.
Yeah.
Football, Formula One, or boxing.
Football.
Manchester City have just been found guilty of a breach of financial fair play after a 4-year investigation over the last few years. It was breaking news last night. I'm bringing it to you now. I didn't even warn you about this. Have you heard about it?
I saw something about it on my feed this morning. I didn't read into it at all.
Okay.
A 4-year investigation. So this is from stuff which
It dates back to like 2011, 2000, basically when the Saudis took over.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the list of sanctions that could take place are incredible. Like,
Walk me through it. So they.
okay. So, the best scenario for Man City at this stage is they could probably get a whopping great big fine, which is kind of really irrelevant because clearly they've got money to spend.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, they could be stripped of their last 6 league titles and relegated to Championship next year. Which is very plausible. So Juventus had it when Juventus went to administration a few years ago, didn't they? And lost
wasn't read
their.
up on that.
Remember when like Del Piero and Buffon were playing and they went down to Serie B
This
in
is before
Italy?
Ronaldo joined them. This
Oh,
is-
way before. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
okay.
like 2010, 2011.
Right.
probably.
Yeah.
So they got stripped of their league titles and relegated to the league below. That could very well happen to Manchester City. Or they could get a 15, 20 point deduction this season. It's up for whatever happens, but
Who decides that?
it goes to it'd be Premier League, wouldn't it? I imagine.
Yeah.
There'd be a few bribes chucking around, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Sepp Blatter
I
would be
just
sniffing
feel
around.
like and even if you strip Man City of the titles, it's like it's
6 titles.
still 6 titles.
So do you know who will be the last 6 titles they won
Yeah.
since 2012?
Yeah.
I think it's 6 titles they've won. I'm pretty sure.
Their first one was the 11-12 season,
Yeah,
wasn't
Aguero.
it? Yeah, classic.
Put the clip on.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
Whether they take that title away or not,
Okay.
Man City always won that.
Yeah, they did, and they'll always go back and look at it, but the history books won't allow it. So there's 2 teams that will benefit because Man United will get another 3 league titles, and Liverpool will also get 3 league titles because they finished runners-up to Man City in those seasons that they won.
Yeah, it all just feels a little bit sour to me.
Yeah, it does. But good news, worst case scenario for me, if they get docked 15 points, it's basically just given us the title this year, Arsenal.
Of course, yeah.
Because we'll be then, if we win our game in hand, we'll be 12 points ahead of United.
I'd like to see that.
I
I'd like
fucking
to see
love
that.
it, mate. Honestly, I've been an Arsenal fan, obviously, from as long as I can remember, 5-6 years old. And the last time we won the league in 2004, I was 13. I
Nice.
don't really remember it, obviously. And since then,
Yeah.
we've just been down here. Yeah, we've won a couple of FA Cups, lost the Europa League final, but it's never been the same.
Yeah, it's been a tough time, isn't it?
We should have won when Leicester won the league in 2016. That was our bet. We should have won the league that year. We fluffed it, literally. But yeah, it'd just be amazing. And I wouldn't care anymore, and I could just focus all my attention on England to win a World Cup.
Well, I'd be rooting for Arsenal over City, that's for sure. I think that's one of those scenarios where it's not going to be the worst case of City going to the Championship. It's not going to be the best case of a fine. Prediction: it will be a big old fine and maybe a 9-point deduction.
Yeah, that's your prediction.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
We'll
Interesting. But it's pretty like it's like good news, isn't it? Like it's always a bit of like, oh god, what's going to happen?
The owners of Newcastle must be watching this unfold like shit.
Yeah, but they must be. But at the same time, they've done everything by the book, haven't they? They haven't overspent for players. They haven't done anything.
But what's Man City's crime? What's the...
So like I haven't. It came out last night. I haven't read the full report because
Okay.
I'm not going to, and I don't care that much. I just want to read the headlines that Sky Sports puts in a
And I'll
nice,
repeat
frilly graphic for me. But for example, Erling Haaland, they paid £51 million for him.
Right.
Bargain, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, when Grealish was 100.
Yeah. However, with add-ons and contracts, agent fees, etc., over the course of his contract, that could rise to £300 million they paid for Erling Haaland.
Subnote: what's an agent fee for a footballer?
Oh, I don't know, but the agent could be the agent negotiated the deal. If you want to sign him for 51 million, you can, but you need to pay me 20 million. That I don't know, but that could be legit. I don't think they take. It's not like an agency fee, like a state agency, where they take a percentage. I'll take 1%. Even that's a couple of mil, obviously, but I think it's bigger than that because agents have, like, if you don't pay me that money, then he's going United, or he's going to go to Liverpool, or he's going to go to Madrid.
Maybe I should be a football agent.
Anyway, so I don't know the ins and outs, but it's a 4-year investigation that's taken place. They've been found guilty. There's no ways about it. They can't appeal to the Court of Arbitration because it's already been dealt with. So, legitimately, some Man City, some shit's going to go down.
So they just spent too much money, basically.
Just lied. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know where. But they've done something. They've been naughty boys, basically, and thought, it ain't going to work for me. Like, no, we're not going to get found out, and they have been. So there we go.
Yeah. Wow.
But then the old Sheikh Mansour, who owns them, the amount of money he's probably made over the years from revenue and from promoting the business.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't going to care.
Yeah,
is he?
cool. Man City lose all their titles and get relegated. Great, I've made my money. I don't care.
Yeah, and they'll just be back up. You know, they'll win the Championship. They'll be back up in the Premiership, and then life will...
Then we get back to normal. So there we. That was football chat.
So that's football. Yeah,
Boxing
cool.
or Formula One?
Formula One.
So you're not a huge fan of Formula One. You like it, but you're not a massive
I
fan.
like it. My dad is big into Formula One.
Well, the specific point I want to discuss then, I think, is going to be ideal for you because you've heard of Drive to Survive, haven't you?
I actually haven't until
You haven't heard of Drive to Survive. Wow, this is news. I'm jealous and envious of the fact that you're going to be able to watch this for the first time and just going to be blown away. I'm really,
It's all
really,
in
really,
front of
really,
me.
yeah. Anyway, so Drive to Survive started 5 seasons ago, and they follow the whole season of the Formula One. It's on Netflix.
Right.
It's about 12 episodes or so, I don't know.
Netflix original thing.
Netflix original, yeah.
Right.
And they go behind the scenes, similar to what they've done with the football teams.
Yeah, okay.
But behind the scenes of all of the teams, the dynamics, the politics inside.
Oh, brilliant.
It's incredible. And what it's done for the sport. I've watched Formula One for years and years and years and years. I've loved it. Back to when I remember watching it on Sunday afternoon with Dad when Michael Schumacher won every single race.
Yeah.
And now watching this. So anyway, the reason I'm saying this is I want to be ahead of the times with the podcast, but in 2 weeks, 24th of Feb, season 5 comes out. It's well worth a watch. I guarantee if you watch Drive to Survive, you will be buzzing for the start of the season, which when it comes end of March, early April, I don't know when it is. You just engage with it. It's brilliant. And what it's done for the sport is incredible.
So the end of the season is the end of March, you say?
No, start of the season.
Start of the season,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Oh, I see what you mean.
I can't remember when it's normally sometime in March.
Yeah, because I watched. It was 2 seasons ago. You know, when on the last race it was Hamilton and Verstappen.
Oh, don't.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm a massive Lewis Hamilton fan.
yeah,
What I loved about Formula 1 at the start is I didn't support anyone, so I just watched it for racing.
yeah.
It's like watching downhill mountain biking. Got in again. I want the English guys to win,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I don't really care. I just want to see a good race as long as the French
sure.
don't win. But with this, like, I do generally want Lewis and George Russell and Mercedes to do well. Not Mercedes necessarily, just because they're English drivers. But that last race, I couldn't. Let's put it this way: on Drive to Survive, I couldn't watch the last episode because it hurt too much watching what happened to Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, it
Get emotional about it.
it felt like a massive injustice.
Oh, it's disgusting. And don't go wrong, and I'm really looking forward to Drive to Survive this year because Max Verstappen won hands down. He's the second best driver on the field behind Lewis, but he had the car that was unrivaled last year,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
good for him, and he could just fucking walk away with it.
So you're like, fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he won it hands down. Fair play to Red Bull.
It's a more entertaining sport than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Because as I say, I've never been a proper fan. I've always kind of half watched it. But then, when you actually watch a good race, those laps go by so quickly, don't they?
This would be a little segment for TikTok quickly, so we'll start now. Every fan of Formula 1 always wants to hear one thing on a race down on Sunday: rain's expected. That's all we care about, because if there's a rain race, yes,
You're getting
shit
drama.
is going down. Anyway, should we put a little trailer for Drive to Survive on the screen right now for people?
2022 represents a new dawn for Formula One. The biggest overhaul the regulations have ever had.
The drivers will love it because they are fighters, like in the Colosseum.
How you feeling about being in the chair?
Right.
I just think Netflix originals are really cool. It's
brilliant.
just a different take, like with the Amazon documentaries and the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's just great going behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think if you had one what's the word, subscription service that you had to do each month across the board. So I'm talking Netflix, Amazon, Spotify, what else? Disney Plus. That's about it, isn't it?
I'm waiting to see if you're going to say YouTube, because if you include
YouTube's not subscription, is it? You can pay for it,
yeah.
but no, who would pay $15.99 a month or whatever it is just to not get
Well,
ads?
if I couldn't get YouTube otherwise, I'd happily pay $15.99 a month.
Okay, that makes
Do you know
sense.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Spotify. Like I went onto the free Spotify for a while,
Yeah.
and then just couldn't deal.
Oh, mate, no.
I didn't realise how much I valued my Spotify
Yeah,
subscription.
I do as well. So, okay, fine. Let's say you had to pay for YouTube subscription as well, and YouTube wasn't free. You had to pay for it. So you had to choose between Spotify, Amazon, Netflix, Disney Plus, or YouTube, and you could only watch one for an entire year or listen to one. What would you go with?
It would be YouTube hands down.
Yeah.
Just because of the variety of stuff. Take YouTube away though, and it'd probably be Amazon Prime. I just think they've got a good.
Mine was okay. Top three then.
Well,
So obviously I love Netflix because it's so good. YouTube would be my first that I would keep.
Yeah.
I would then probably take Spotify, and then I'd go Netflix.
Leave a comment. What would you do?
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, or Spotify? Which is most important?
There we go. Another little TikTok reel there. That's a good one actually. You could put that top 5 in your comments. What would you choose? Number 1.
Yeah. I reckon most people would say YouTube.
I'll do that. I'll do that TikTok reel because I feel like I can be the one that can promote it. I can't promote it, but I feel like I need that to get to a couple of thousand views.
Yeah.
Mate, I'll be happy if I get 10,000 views.
What I realised with content, I think we've said this before, is that it's just all about engagement. I think what's cool about social media and the changes in the last 3 or 4 years is it's gone from you get your content gets shared if you have a large following. That's how it was before.
Yeah.
Whereas now your content gets pushed if people engage with it.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need a big following
No.
anymore to get people to see your stuff.
Which I think is great, and that's why you see these people that rise to fame, literally what would seem overnight.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's good. And I know we said about, I said a few minutes ago, how do you come up with these ideas? You literally nailed it. You couldn't have said it more perfectly. Things that annoy me or that I observe, I make a TikTok out of it. Because if it annoys me and I observe it, 9 times out of 10 it's going to annoy someone else and they've observed it.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately what it needs. And then
Yeah.
they engage with it, and then some other people are going to see it. And then that's what creates viral videos.
Absolutely. And I showed that video to my brother and he looked at it and goes, yeah, it's just what people give a fuck about. He always says that as his quote. It's just like, people give a fuck about it. You talk about barbershops dodging tax, people give a fuck about that topic. You talk about, what's my last one? You talk about motorway lanes. Yeah, people have got opinions on that.
Yeah. Not if you post it really badly though.
No, I guess it's but it's been able to spark engagement, isn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely has. Right, I've got one more
Last one, boxing.
topic. Boxing. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. Sunday, the 25th of February, live from Saudi Arabia.
I was surprised when I saw the Saudi Arabia location, but then I thought,
Really?
well, so much. Well, I was initially, and then I thought, no, it makes perfect
Right,
sense.
so my argument is the build-up's good. I like it. I saw something on Instagram or something yesterday with Tommy Fury meeting Jake Paul while he's doing a live interview. That went viral. The clip of him saying good luck for the fight. Well done. But it's a fucking show, isn't it, at the end of the day? And is it devaluing boxing, or is it just what people want to see?
Isn't that what boxing's all about?
No, it's not.
It kind of is.
It's
though.
not. It's not at all. Like these people,
Kind of is.
there's so many talented boxers that graft for years and years and years, never get a break, and never make it. And then there's people like, I mean, let's be honest. Tommy Fury's only famous because of his name, right?
Yeah.
And Love
Yeah.
Island.
It's Love Island versus YouTube.
And Jake Paul rose to fame as a Disney kid star. And then, granted, he is excelled as a businessman and made his brand him, along with his brother.
Yeah.
You can't argue for that. That doesn't give him the right to go into boxing. But then again, will it bring... And this is the conversation I wanted to have. The fact that those two are bringing... Not Tommy... that Jake Paul's bringing a whole new audience to boxing, is that only going to help promote the sport?
Yeah, I think you could say it is. And I think it's just the market in action. It's the same thing when people complain about footballers' wages. And it's like, well, they're just getting a wage from the free market, the same as these boxers are getting a wage or a payout from the free market. I think you're right in that there's loads of boxers who probably work harder and have grafted more, but were those boxers starting YouTube channels to promote?
No, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And I can understand why boxers would be, or the boxing fraternity would be annoyed about it.
Yeah.
But for example, like that fight, did you know that's they're the co-main events on that fight card that they're fighting with in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So there's another main event as well. It's not
Right.
really. There's always only been one main event, but the co-main event, a guy called Badu Jack's fighting. You know Badu Jack?
No.
He's a previous 2-time world champion, 2-weight world champion.
Okay.
Incredible boxer. He fought a British guy and absolutely smashed him. He's an American guy. Anyway, he's fighting the same fight card. No one even knows that.
No.
Good boxer. Really good boxer. Very talented.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued. So they're fighting a cruiserweight. I just checked their score, bout history. So Jake Paul's 6-0 and 4 knockouts. Tommy Fury's 8-0 with 6 knockouts, I think. So neither have lost, but neither have fought anyone of any note.
Yeah. Early on in their careers.
Yeah.
This will make good
Do you know
telly. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. It'd be interesting because it's just, it'll be a spectacle. I probably will watch it. Depending on how much it is.
Yeah, I mean,
If it's anything more than 20 quid, I won't watch it.
Nah, me neither. I'm just not that arsed.
Yeah.
I'm really not. But it's the entertainment for me. The same thing with the like Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah,
You know, just anything which is a big headline. There's all the hype before it.
But I think that was slightly different because
Yeah,
Conor McGregor
yeah.
was in his prime at that time.
As soon as I said it, that was completely different.
And Floyd Mayweather, arguably one of the best boxers that ever lived.
Yeah.
You know, despite what you think of him being a dick, he is. He's an exceptional boxer.
He's a good example, though, of someone who can do both. Floyd Mayweather can walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yeah.
So he's an amazing professional athlete.
Yeah.
But he also understands the hype game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that side of it.
That fight, the build up to that fight, the Mayweather McGregor fight, was just like nothing we've ever seen before. But McGregor's that's what he does. He's made a living from it, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Being the hype man.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so yeah, cool. That ends the sports section, fans. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
If the agency business goes downhill, you can just step onto an American news site.
No, I've got a terrible accent. It's just funny, isn't it? Bloody Americans. Cool. One final topic. Oh no, we haven't talked about estate agency yet, have we?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's some agency chat.
Cool. So, I think we want to introduce a new. We call it tech. It's
a
tech.
new way of working.
New way of working. There
we
we go.
are catching up with our brothers and sisters in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
I feel like we are lagging behind.
So we could almost like do a little advert for it, couldn't we?
Well, let's talk about these reservation agreements.
Yeah. So traditionally, over the as long as I've been an estate agent, 1 in 3 transactions, so 1 in 3 sales agreed, don't make it through to exchange and completion. A staggering statistic. You don't know, so you're buying a house for, let's say, 3 or 4 months, and for maybe 1 week at the end of the transaction, you're actually guaranteed to move, and that's after you legally exchange contracts. Anyone can pull out at any time for no reason whatsoever, just change the circumstances, whatever. No one. It's really unfair, and a lot of people, it costs people a lot of money. So Matt, wouldn't it be amazing if someone created an idea that could stop that happening?
That's what we got.
Oh yes,
The solution to the
the
problem.
solution. So yeah, tell everyone about these reservation agreements.
So, reservation agreement. I'm describing this reservation agreement as a formalisation of a handshake.
I love that.
So when you agree your sale,
Yeah.
you have a handshake basically that I agree, subject to contract, that I will pay X amount for this home.
Yeah.
And then you go into the legal process, which invariably takes longer than everyone wants it to. And as you said, up until contracts are exchanged, there's no security for either party. So what this reservation agreement does is it legally locks in each party. So the buyer agrees to pay X price for the house. The seller agrees to sell the house for X price. And then subject to, so there's reasonable withdrawals and unreasonable withdrawals.
Yeah.
But both parties financially commit to that deal, that
Yeah.
handshake, and then there is a financial penalty if
Should they
any
withdraw?
party
Yeah.
falls out.
And it's not necessarily. It's not a penalty. It's like that's obviously what it is.
Compensation.
Compensation. But what I love about it, and it's like nothing like this has been done before.
No.
For a buyer and a seller to have assurances that they're not going to be out of pocket once they agree to sale, i.e. if their buyer pulls out or the seller withdraws, they're going to be compensated for it. Obviously, it'd be frustrating still. But one of the statistics that really grabbed me is the company Gazelle that we're working with. Their fall-through rate with reservation agreements is less than 3%.
Yeah.
Which, like 33%, 1 in 3 sales fall through, or 1 in 100, or
Yeah.
3 in 100.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute no-brainer. And for the cost as well, so you can set up a reservation agreement for £600 including VAT, split between both parties. To pay £300 initially, just cost you your searches, you're guaranteed you're going to be moving into that house.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be paid for it.
And there's a lack of general understanding, I think, about how vulnerable you are until you exchange contracts. I'm sure you find that most people they
Yeah.
just don't understand that they're so exposed
Yeah.
through that part of a transaction.
Because you think about it, you're paying £300 for your searches,
Yeah.
£700 for a survey, a couple £100 for your mortgage arrangement fee.
Yeah.
If your solicitors are no sale, no fee, quick claim here. If you're using the solicitors, no sale, no fee, don't use them. Use another solicitor. Everyone does no sale, no fee. But let's say they're not for this point. You're paying £2,000 for solicitors. You're basically possibly £5,000 in the hole, with no guarantee you're moving into the property.
Yeah.
And the seller could just withdraw day before exchange for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's protecting buyers, and it's the same for sellers. They're agreeing to take the house off the market. What the reservation agreement is doing is basically giving them assurances their buyer's also coming off the market. Because nothing's stopping a buyer still viewing other houses. We're not going to know, are we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Find a better deal, pull out.
And I'm sure you've had sales. I know I've had sales where the buyer's made an offer seems great, seller's very willing and happy to accept it, but there's just something you can't quite put your finger on.
Yeah.
You've had those sales,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And it's like, well, everything checks out, but there's something doesn't feel right, and you don't know if that buyer's looking at other houses.
Yeah.
So I love the reservation agreements because you can say, right, the seller wants to do one of these. Are you open to that?
Yeah.
And any buyer who genuinely wants to buy the house they've agreed to buy should be more than happy to sign that.
Yeah, I
and
totally
pay
agree.
for it.
I totally agree. I think it's a way of phrasing it and discussing it, but I think it's a massive thing for the industry. The great thing is we're the only local estate agent across within the Berkshire area that we cover, Reading. We're the only agent that uses it.
I want to just start actually using it on some deals because I know the rep we had obviously understood the product so well.
Yeah.
But he was doing such a good job of selling it to us.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I need to know how to simplify this in plain English terms.
I tried a few. I haven't got any agreements done yet, but I think that's just down from my knowledge actually getting it sorted.
So I got my first one signed actually last week.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, so buyer and seller, very happy to enter into it. And I'll run you through it just for context for people listening. So I've got a house, which is a HMO, a shared house, and the buyer wanted to move back in as a residential purchase. The seller doesn't want to empty the house of paying tenants because they have no security until his contract's exchanged.
Perfect scenario, isn't it?
The buyer wants the house, just wants to turn it back into a family home.
Yeah.
Both enter into a reservation agreement to say, we'll empty the house so you can get your residential mortgage.
Yeah.
And if you pull out, we're then covered to re-let the house.
Yeah.
So, and it's worked perfectly.
Brilliant.
You know, each party is, again, formalising that handshake and get what they need.
Yeah. That's a perfect example of how these can work amazingly. But it could just be anything simple. Like we talked in the last episode about my issue with the survey.
Yeah.
Still rumbling on.
Yeah.
Still like this. We're now 10 days later.
Yeah.
It's still not sorted.
And this was far into the transaction.
But I've had contractors go around and look at the survey issues. I know what the survey issues are, and they are complete non-starters. I've sold properties. If that came up on the survey, most people are like, yeah, cool. The insulation needs redoing in the loft. Fucking do it yourself on a Saturday afternoon. Okay, the chimney needs rebuilding, but it's not affecting the property. It's not used. There's no chimney. It's blocked off. So what does it matter? The fence needs replacing. Grow the fuck up. The garage roof looks like it's leaking. I've had it confirmed. It's historic leaks. The roof was replaced 3 years ago. So if we had a reservation agreement in place, there's no way they'll be able to withdraw based on that survey because they'd send the survey to Gazelle, it'd be mediated and be like, no, if you withdraw, you've got to pay the seller's compensation.
And I believe I'm correct in saying a reservation agreement, the survey only applies if it's serious.
Yeah. If there's things didn't come up and weren't there, let's say the roof absolutely had to be rebuilt and it's going to cost 20 grand. That is a serious issue. That's fine. If they withdrew from that, I'm sure they'd get away with it.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's 100 quid's worth of work to do on the chimney, that's not affecting the house in one way, shape or form, and it will stay there for another 30 years and never be an issue. That sort of thing, I'm sure, would be like, no, that's unfair grounds to withdraw.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it protects both parties at the same time.
And I think it's some people aren't able to take a pragmatic approach to stuff.
Yeah,
You know, I think surveys can be really scary. But I love this reservation agreement, and I think, you know, part of what we're doing this content for is to actually inform people about the moving process, right?
Yeah.
So I just, I hope the reservation idea as an idea and as a thing can just become more common.
I totally agree. It's only a good thing for the industry
100%.
to firm up things and give people it. It's going to give them security, but it's also going to relieve a lot of stress that people have throughout the process. And anyone that in the world we live in at the moment, and the house moving process anyway, anything we can do to relieve stress from buyers, it's only a winning situation in my opinion.
And it's great for us as well, because, you know, that reservation agreement I've got signed, it's like, great, I've got a buyer and a seller there.
That are
happy,
committed.
locked in.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm much more likely to get my commission 3 or 4 months down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Selfishly.
Right, mate, we are reaching the end. We did have another topic, but we will save that for Friday with our special guest, I think.
Yeah, let's do it. Just
We're going to have to do a lot. I think we need to be professional with the guest. I know he's chilled, he's cool, and he'll just go with the flow, but I do think that's it. Oh my God, I remembered, luckily, segue, the guest. So, I can't say it without saying our topic, but the topic I was going to talk about, and we're going to save it for next week, is Google is launching their own AI chatbot called Bard to rival ChatGPT.
Such a weird name.
And my segue is, I went on ChatGPT Tuesday, that's Tuesday today, last week, knowing that we had a guest coming on Friday, and asked ChatGPT to provide me 10 amazing questions a podcast host could ask to a guest. And I've got them all saved for us.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've got 10 questions already for our mystery guest.
That's really cool. Why don't we choose, I'll do ChatGPT as well, and we choose, I don't know, 2 or 3 questions each.
Well, yeah, we've got them there. We can just choose them. We can ask the guy about what his views are on AI.
Yeah, let's do that.
And we could talk about some subjects with him, and just get to know him a little bit. It'll be a very different type of podcast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I'm good. You know, episode 10, we're getting into these now.
Double figures, yeah. We're motoring through as well, so that'll be, if that comes out on the weekend, won't it? That'll be a lot of editing this week, haven't we? You have.
Yeah.
Although you're going to help me with it.
Yeah, we'll get it done.
No, I'll help. I'm going to see how to do it. Anyway, episode 10. So that's great. By mid-Feb, having 10 episodes out of the podcast, well on track to our 40 for the year. Amazing. Should we finish up with what you've been watching?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Let's do it.
Let me show you mine first then.
Okay.
Not figuratively, the actual video I'm talking about. Let me do the intro. Right, it's a YouTube video, as it always is. This YouTube video is called The World's Fastest Drag Race. So there's a guy called, on YouTube, Haggerty, 2.5 million subscribers, 472 million views. This guy's a big time player.
Yeah,
big time player. Basically, he does car content.
Okay.
Races, like talk through cars. And it's 2 electric cars, the Lucid Air Sapphire and a Tesla, and the Bugatti the 4 billion, is it 4 million or 4 billion pounds?
I think it's 4 million.
4 million.
Yeah, 4 billion would be absurd.
Yeah, 4 million Bugatti Chiron. I'll cut to the scene because this is the best part of the scene, and I'll explain what happens, but then people can watch it if they want. So this is the scene I want to show you. There's also a Ducati, a Panigale? Yeah, Panigale, which is one of the world's fastest production motorbikes.
Well, they're just all going at it in a drag race.
Well, we're going to start halfway through because this is a clip. But basically, watch this. From 0 to 156 miles an hour in 9.1 seconds. Mate, honestly, watch the video. We'll put a link in the description. It's incredible. So, spoiler alert, the Lucid Air Sapphire is the fastest production car ever created.
I've never even heard of that car.
Nor have I. It's American. They had a Lucid Air, which was in the previous track race and was smashed by the Tesla S model.
Yeah.
whatever it is, sport model. But yeah, this one it's amazing. Like watching the actual drag race. The Bugatti Chiron, I think, comes second,
Okay.
but it's a £4 million car. And
Speed.
that Lucid Air is about $150,000.
It's mad.
Still a lot of money, obviously, but
Yeah, but for that kind of speed, it's like...
so that's what I've been watching. I urge everyone to watch it. It's good fun, especially if you're into electric cars like I am.
So what you've been watching is just a silly little prank video. So it's
That's like every week, but I love them so.
every week. Yeah, it's Jermaine Genius
Yeah.
getting pranked, and I just thought he takes it really well. I thought he takes it so well.
Yeah, no, he does. To be fair, I love those. They do it on the Ant and Dex Saturday Night Takeaway, don't they? When they always prank the people on that. That's always good fun.
Yeah, sometimes like famous people are a bit like, oh, do you know who I am? Blah blah blah. But he was cool.
There we go. Awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Call that a wrap, shall we? I think it's been about an hour, maybe slightly over.
Okay,
But we can trim it down, can't we, if we need to?
we'll trim it down and we'll see these good people who are still watching on the next episode.
Absolutely. But you could do the close and introduce episode 10 for next week.
Cool.
Well, for later on this week, actually.
This has been episode 9, which means next week is episode 10, where we have our special guest. Check in for that. Find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, YouTube, your social media platform of choice. And we'll see you again next week.
Marvellous close that was. Peace all.